Hi chefs, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're about to get a sneak peek into one of our premium course modules. Today we're going to have a walkthrough on how to build your very own professional chef's website for free. This video is packed full of useful tips for anyone looking to stand out and get hired fast. Okay, and that's not all. After we've shown you how to build your own website, we'll also cover some essential tools private chefs need to get hired. Okay, these tools are crucial for keeping your calendar booked and your clients happy. Now, this is a bit of a rabbit hole, but don't worry, I've laid everything out in the logical order, and you'll find timestamps in the description to make it really easy to jump back to any part that you're struggling with. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. In today's competitive market, a professional website isn't just a luxury, it's really essential. Okay, your website serves as a portfolio, resume, the best tool for making an instant connection with potential clients. Okay, now whether you need to showcase your work, share credentials, or collect bookings, a professional website really does just make this much easier. Okay, and the good news is you don't need to spend thousands on a marketing agency. System.io is my go-to tool. It's free and you can have your chef website up and running in just a few hours. Okay, now to demonstrate this properly, I'm going to use a current student of mine as a guinea pig, as an example, and set her site up for her, so you can see exactly how it's done. Okay, we'll even go into getting a custom domain URL to keep things looking professional. And I really recommend this as they only cost around 10 to sort of 40 euros a year. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is to buy a domain name. Now, you don't have to do this. You can just use the custom System.io name, but I really would recommend doing it. It doesn't cost a lot, as you'll see in a minute. So I'm going to jump on here and buy Tilly's one. Tilly's traveling table. Do a quick search. And now it gives me a list of all of the different ones that I could get. And I'm just going to look down here at the prices and see what's available. And I can actually get .com, so I'm going to go with that. Tilly's traveling table, double check the spelling, add it to the cart, and then I'm going to jump over and look in email here as well. Okay, this gives you the packages, and you'll see these days, email is charged separately to the actual URL, so you can buy a URL without having to buy the actual whole package. I'm not really sure why they're doing that. I used to come free, but it seems to be a thing now, and that's why I've switched to using Namecheap. Now this one is actually fine. Okay, it's one mailbox included, 5 gigs. If you need, just to know for the future, if you need to upgrade, you can have 3 email boxes, 30 gigs, but that would be if your email got really full. In reality, it's probably going to be fine, especially if you make an effort to delete emails that you don't need. Okay, so a promo code there, mail deal. Yep. So we're going to add that as well. I want to use a domain in my cart. Select the one that I'm trying to buy. One mailbox. That's all I need. Seemingly it's free. I think that's free for a couple of months or something. Just check down here. You could change this as you want. For now, you might as well stick with 1 year. You might select auto renew. And you can see that it's only going to be 13 euros a year. Okay, so it's not bad value. That is included. Nothing else. Starter email, another 13 euros. Now, I'm not going to bother with any of the rest of these things. You might look into it later, but I'm not going to bother. So confirm the order. Okay, so I'm going to set up an account for Tilly in her own name. Password. Now you can either add a new contact here, or just leave all of the different ones as the default. Okay, continue. Enter in your payment details. All right, double check everything. It looks fine to me. It's always worth double checking the actual URL that you're buying to make sure you've bought the right one. Hit pay. Okay, so that's now done. I can go in here and create mailboxes. Create mailbox. Mailbox name, I'm just going to make it info at Tilly's traveling table. Password, we'll use the same one. That's 5. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is jump over into the mail plan that I'm using. I'll go for the welcome email there. Click here to verify your email address. Okay. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to jump into my mail program. Whatever you're using, I'm using K9 Mail. You might have Outlook or the Apple version Mail. I'm going to add a mail account. That's going to be it is info. .com. Password. And continue. And it should look it all up, make it all work automatically. Okay. Confirmation found. IMAP means that everything stays on the server. If you delete something from your local copy, you delete it from the server as well. Checking the passwords and done. Okay, so now I've got down here, I've got Tilly's mailbox as well. So I've had this email from Namecheap. They've given me a checklist of things to do with links to any help files that you might need if you've got have any issues with doing any of this. But generally speaking, you should just be able to set the email up. I'll go into my own account, send a message. And just test it and see if it works. And there's my message. So I know that her URL's been purchased and we've got the mailbox working fine. Okay, now we're going to set up the System.io platform so you can build your website. If you click on the link in the description, you'll be brought through to a page like this. You can enter your email address here. I've already entered Tilly's one, and press click here and it will take you to a page that looks like this, and then you can go into your email address, the one that you've just created, into your inbox, and click on the authentication link and verify it, and then you can sign in, bring you to a page like this. Now this is the System.io main dashboard. There's other dashboards here as well. It's a huge platform that does a lot of things, so I'm not going to go into it in any great detail. I'll skip across these quickly. The contacts is anyone who's been added to your mailing list. Sales funnels and blogs are the two ways to build a website and system. They're both kind of referred to as websites, if you like. They're just structured slightly differently. Sales funnels are more about building sales-based websites that are a bit more sort of stagnant, and blogs are for any sort of website where you want to constantly add content, and then be able to search back through articles and things like that. That's really the main difference. But we're going to be creating a sales funnel in a minute. Emails, this is where you set up newsletters, which are one-off emails to your list, or campaigns, which are automatic ongoing ones. Products, you can host physical products or courses. That's where I host my online training courses. There's coupons and discount codes that you can add in and things like that. And you can host communities as well. And there's more sales information, but we're going to jump across here to settings. Go into settings. Now, a lot of this is just general stuff: profile, account, your plan, which obviously you're on the free plan, and the free plan really is enough for what we're doing. Come all the way down here to custom domains. Now, I've actually already added this one, but I'm going to show you how to do it quickly. This would be the domain name that system has given you as your free one to use. And you can use that. It just doesn't look very professional. And I think for around 20 euros a year, it's worth having that custom domain with Namecheap. So I've added this one in. You just add the domain, you type in what the domain is, and then it will give you these instructions. Okay, and these are the DNS configuration for your for Namecheap. So you go into Namecheap, into your dashboard, find the domain list tab, advanced DNS, click on this, and you'll see that you can come down here and click add new record. Okay, and we want what we're looking for is a CNAME record. Click on this, and you'll see that I've actually added these already up here. Now, the first one from system, we're going to leave the URL behind and just take that first bit, www. Back in here, and under host, you'd click www. Back over, and then take the whole piece of text that's here, come back in and place that down here as target, and then click on the button and it will add it in, as you see I've done there with that first one. And then the same with the second one. You just take everything from here back, jump in and add it in as the host name, and then you take the whole section of text from here and add that in as the target and press the green tick. Okay, now once that's done, this is going to take a while to update. Okay, so you can hop out of there and back into system, and you'll see that this still says pending validation, and that can take a few hours. It might take a day, but generally it's done fairly quickly within a few hours. Okay, and then you'll be able to use this to make your website. Once that's done, you want to find the emails tab. Click here to authenticate your domain name. Okay, it'll pop up with the domain name. I've already done it for Tilly, but you're right in the domain name there, and press save, and then it will, it'll do its thing, and it'll say pending for a bit. Down to email addresses, click here to confirm your email address. You click on this, put the email address in that you want to verify, and then it will send you an email and you have to verify it, and then it will give you a little light here that's a little thing that says verified, which is what you're looking for. Once this status is turned to verified, you'll be able to put in a sender address and your name. So the email address in there, and then you'll be able to save it, but that's still going to take a minute or two. Okay, so it's been about an hour. I'm going to jump back in and check my custom domain is ready for use. Okay, in the settings, and it says ready for use. Okay, which is perfect. One other thing to note: jump into these settings, and you can have scroll down and just check email address for contact us form subscriptions. It's a submission, sorry. It's a really random place to have this setting, but it's in there. So make sure you put your email address in there if you want a contact form to work. Okay, so now that's all done and dealt with, we can get on with the fun part. Okay, now when it comes to building your site, this is where the kind of rabbit hole scenario comes in, because it can be one of those things you get stuck on. You spend your whole life obsessing about it. My advice is to use one of the templates that you like and don't mess about with the layout too much, okay? The main reason for this is that web design isn't like creating a static document or PDF, like a menu or a flyer. There's so many different screen sizes available these days that every object on the website, usually they're referred to as blocks or elements, they need to be flexible so they can be moved about by the device and so that everything fits on the page, etc. So keep that in mind as we go along. There's also a desktop and a mobile version for every site. So as you develop your web page in desktop mode, the platform's building a mobile version of it in the background. Okay, so you've got to be careful not to mess about with it too much, because you might get something looking great on the computer and you load it on your phone and wonder why it's upside down, or the text is off the page, or the image doesn't line up, or whatever. Okay. So unless you already have some skills, I'd stick to the templates. There are loads of free templates already built into System.io. And for my students, I've got some especially set up for private chef websites. Okay, so all you need to do is just import it and change the images and the text and things, and you're good to go. My advice is to set this website up and leave it. Okay, we're all busy chefs, so set it up with the intention of leaving it alone and not having a blog or updating it every 5 minutes. For that, there's social media platforms. Okay, like the best is to link your site to probably Instagram, because it's the most visual. You can keep it simple. Have links to Instagram on your page so people can see the most up-to-date work. Keep your profile up to date and ignore everything else. Okay, we haven't got time to spend our lives updating 6 different platforms. It's easy to grab a quick shot on the fly during service and keep an Instagram profile up to date without much stress. Now, as I said before, blogs or sales funnels, you could set up a blog style website if you were adding content to it every week. But we're going to set up a sales funnel to start with. Now, there's a couple of ways to go about it. One, create sales funnel, and it's going to ask you for the name of it. I'm just going to say test, because this is an example, and you can check here and see that the URL that I bought for Tilly is there as well. For now, I'm just going to use this one, and I'll just say custom. Okay, so it doesn't set me up with a specific pre-made funnel. Now you jump in here. This is my list of funnels. Obviously there isn't any yet. I'm going to click my one that I'm making, and I'm going to add step. And I'll just call that home. And I want squeeze page. Okay, this is just the main landing page. Now when I click on save, it gives me a whole load of templates. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. This you can keep clicking through them. There's loads of them. So the best thing is to find one that suits what you're looking for. That's the easiest way, because it's been designed by someone that knows what they're doing, and you can just kind of add in the copy, the text, and the images and things that you like. So that's my advice. Now the other way you can do this is to use I go back out of here, is to import one. Okay, now because Tilly's one of our students in our marketing course, you can just click the button here, import template. Okay, and there it is, bang. So when I go into funnels list, you'll see I've now got 2, student template 3 and the test one. I'm going to get rid of the test one because I'm not going to bother using that. And now I can go in and I've got my home page and a contact us page. Now I'm going to jump up here into funnel settings, and I'm going to make sure that that's on Tilly's URL. I'll change this. Home suits me. And now I can edit the page. So this is the editor for editing your website. As I said earlier, it's not like a document, like a Word document or a PowerPoint document where you can just move things around and they all work. All of these things have to be able to be moved by different sized devices. So we have what are known as elements over here, sometimes known as blocks, text, headline text, all of these things that you can use to build your site. And then there's the column layout, and we've got rows, sections, and then columns. And if you look over here, you'll see that it's highlighted for me, the row. Okay, the row is the blue square, and then inside the row I've got text. Now that is just a single row. If I look up here, I've got a block that's 3 columns. Okay, so the row actually is divided into 3, and I can put things in different boxes. Then you've got the section. Okay, the section is this big green piece here. So you'll see that this is a section. The next piece, the green piece, is a section, and so on and so on. And if I click right down to the actual text, block of text, you'll see up the top here, section, row, and text headline if you want to access it a different way. Then I've got things like the gallery. Okay, I can click on here. If I click on the image, you'll see I've got the image inside a row like this, inside a carousel, inside another row, inside the big section. So I hope that makes sense. So if you want to change something about your template, you can simply click on the item. This is the image, and you'll get the list over here. If it shows you this menu, then you click on it again, and it will give you the actual thing to play about with. So this is the image. If I want to change this image, I would just select my images. Here's a load of images that I've actually this is a new account, so there's no images yet, so I would have to upload something. Upload it, and then it will change, and the image will change. Now, action when the image is clicked, you can choose what this does. Okay, so you can either make it show a pop-up or open a URL if you want. If you want it to open a URL, you paste the link in here. Now I don't want it to do anything, so I'm just going to leave it on open URL with no link, and that's fine. You've got the choice to select open in a new window if you like. Now, image size is something quite important. I suggest that you use Canva or something like that to keep all of your images in a regular size. So choose a size for landscape, choose a size for portrait, and you can use square ones as well if you like. I think down here somewhere, down here I've got some square ones like this, but keep them all uniform, otherwise this becomes a little bit of a nightmare. Okay, so let's say I want to change this picture. The size of the image is available to me down here as well, so I can actually change the size with this slider, which is quite useful. But I want to make sure that they're all the same size. So if this one is 354, so that it's even, I want this to be 354 too. And sometimes you'll notice that you'll change an image. Let's say we bring a new image in, and it'll come in and it'll look like this, and you'll think, oh God, nightmare. But if you've saved all the images as the same size image in another program and then imported them all, they should all be nice and uniform, and this will make your life a lot easier. So I'll change that back. I think it was 280. Yeah. Then you've got alignment. If you want whether you want it left or right centered, all of this stuff is fairly straightforward. But I do want to talk about margins. Now, if I look at the row, this whole row, or this row here, for example, I've got margins, and you can either click this and make and adjust all the margins evenly, or you can have them broken up individually. Now, if I move this up, you'll see that the margin on the outside of the row grows or shrinks as you like. In or out. Now margin is the margin of the actual row, the outside of the row. And then you've also got padding. So if you wanted it to move inside, you could do it like this, and I'd have a bit more space inside the row. Now technically it really kind of doesn't seem like it makes much difference, but it in some situations it does. It's just about how you space out your website, but you have to always keep in mind that what you see here isn't necessarily how it will look on certain devices. Okay, you can click this button here to get an overview of what the website's going to look like. And then jump back in and carry on editing it. So all of the settings that you'll need, whether you want to change the background color, you can put an image in. Sometimes images are stored in, for example, this top one, usually the hero image, is stored actually as a background image as opposed to being an image in a box like this one here is, for example. That's an image block, an image element that's been put in there. So sometimes you've used the full bleed, use the full background and put the image in here like this, and then you can decide whether it's full width or repeated, or whether it scales and all of these kind of things. You just have to play around with it, and that's what I mean by a rabbit hole. You can spend hours doing this. So my advice really is to just use the template, change the photos around, change the text around. I'm going to change this, for example, to say please, oops, Tilly's traveling table. Okay, you can change the font size if you want, make it a little bit smaller. It fits in with the top line as you like. It's all completely customizable. So the next thing to look at is this mobile and desktop view. Okay, every website has two versions of it, and if I click on these links down here, this little button down here, it's going to give me the mobile layout. Now the first thing you notice is that the menu is a drop down menu that pops up in the corner, and it's a mirror of this menu here, which I'll come back to in a minute. But often once you've finished designing your site in desktop mode, you need to come across and just check that it all works in the mobile mode, because sometimes blocks end up in different places, and you will have noticed at some point some of these things say, let me jump over here, you'll notice this desktop only, desktop only. Now if you click on the block, look at the bottom, you can see these two check boxes here, and that will decide whether it's showing on each version. So those ones don't actually show on this version, which I've purposely done because they don't really fit very well. But sometimes you might need to take an image or a section and make a slightly different version of it for the other, so it fits. Okay, so jumping back into the main desktop view, that's usually where I do all of my editing. Let's take a look at how to use this carousel setting, because I quite like it. I think it's a nice way to add in information, a bit like here. We've got you can click through and put all your different reviews in. Click on the box up the top on the carousel function, you'll get a list on the side, and you can highlight the slides, each one like this, and then you can change the content within. Now if I wanted to add another one, you can add new slide, and it's going to give me a blank slide like this. Okay, and now you can add the content to that. So if I look for the other ones have 3 sections, I'll put my row in first, that then can contain an image or a headline text, however I want it to be. bulleted text. This is just an example. So all of these things are contained within the column and the row, if that makes sense. Add a file. Just going to upload something random. Insert it. There's my image. Now that now becomes my slide. Okay, so if I go back onto carousel and jump across them, that would be the slide that I've built. I'll delete that for now. And again, with all of these things, you've got controls. You can control the color, you can control the margin, you can control which version it pops up on. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at is the settings menu. Okay, for the whole page. This is the settings menu for the page. You can choose the font that you want, the standard default fonts. If you want to change everything, you can the color of the links and these kinds of general settings. Languages, English. Background image, I haven't got one for the page. Now this is interesting, the SEO. This is where you can put in the title, the description. Okay, so I'm going to put in here traveling table, whoops, and I can write a whole list of stuff that will help with search and some keywords in there as well. If I want keywords, I'll put private chef, separated by a comma, home cooking, villa, chef, etc., etc. You can put the author and you can put a social image, and that'll be the image that pops up on Google when you're next to your website. So it's a small kind of profile style picture, and we don't want it hidden from search engines. It'd be a shame. If you want to put a Facebook code in there, then it can go in there too. Now the next thing I want to look at is how to make a pop-up. Okay, up here you've got another badge that says pop-ups, and there's already one that's been pre-made. Okay, so I can view it, see what it says. Where should I send your sample menus and other bits? Okay, and it's called a lead capture. Okay, so this is how you can get somebody's email address. Basically, the pop-up pops up, they put their name, their email, and when they click on the button, you'll see that the button is assigned to submit form. Okay, and you can do all sorts of other things with the button: show pop-up, open URL, the next step, and download files and things like that. But we want it to submit the form. If we want to redirect to another URL, we could add that in here, and I've just got redirect to the home page, which is our own page, or you could say no redirection, either or. Now, the double opt-in for this form means that they have to have an email sent for confirmation, which is a good idea for to keep you nice and legal. And you can add an automation rule. Okay, now an automation rule I will come back to in a later stage of this video, but basically you can trigger it to do all sorts of things, leave tags and all that kind of thing. And the rest of it is just general settings on what you want written on the button, the font size, and all of that sort of thing. So once you've got your pop-up set up, there's another button on here for the pop-up settings, show close button, which is this, the color, now you can set it to come up automatically. I have set this to not come up automatically, but if I wanted it to pop up by itself, I could say I want it to come up 45 seconds after somebody's landed on the page, for example. So I'm going to leave that off. Open on exit intent means that this pop-up will come up as the person's leaving the site. So if they look like they're about to leave the site will throw this pop-up up, and they might just give you their email address. And this means that you can send emails to your client list later on, and it's actually quite handy. And that's it for that. Now, to get the pop-up to trigger, There's a few ways to do it. You can have a button, like the button that was actually on the pop-up. We could drag a, where are they, down here? We could drag a button across, put it into here, and then click on the button and, you know, change those settings so that it, hang on, when the button is clicked, I want it to show a pop-up, for example. But what I'm going to do, what I've done on this example is just highlighted some text. Okay, if you look at this text here, it's got a line underneath it, and if I click on the link, it will say pop-up number 1. And that means that when the person clicks on this, piece of text, it will throw that pop-up up. So if I go into the preview, and I click on this button, sample menus, you know, if someone wants to download your menus, then they give you their email address, you send them the email, it's got the menus on it, and all of this happens automatically. That's kind of the beauty of it. Okay, and it'll be the same with these. Click on this, the pop-up thing comes up. Now if I save my settings, I come out to this page, along the top here I've got contacts, and if I went to the contacts page, this is where I'm going to start generating contacts. Everybody that fills in that lead capture form is going to be added to this list, and then at some point, if I want to send them a newsletter, I can say I can send them a newsletter. But what's a very good idea is to add tags. Okay, so I'm going to go into the tags thing, I'm going to create a tag, and I'm going to call it downloaded sample menus, and I'll add that tag back in the funnel in a minute. Okay, so back in the editor, if I want to link to some text, see I've got this button, I've actually made this a button but had just left the text. Okay, if you click on this button, you'll see that it's got no color, and it's yeah, the background color is transparent. Okay, so it just shows me the text, which I quite like. Or you can just highlight some text, but I've got this see more for me on Instagram set up as a button, and you add your link in here. Okay, so I'll go across to Tilly's Instagram page, just copy the link, and then paste it here. Okay, simple as that. Click save. That means that when someone clicks on this link, they'll be taken to her Instagram page. Now another way to do it is just to highlight a piece of text like this and then click on the link button. You can put the URL in here as well, just for an example, and then press save, and it will save the link. If you wanted it to open a pop-up, you would click on this, and then it would give you the option of all the pop-ups that you want to open. But I don't want any of that to happen, so I'm just going to okay, the next thing to look at is a contact page. If you want someone to send you an email. Now there is a couple of different ways to do this. First way, on this template, I'm going to send it straight off to another page. Okay, so if we look at this button, you'll see that the URL is contact me /contact me. So I'm going to just quickly save that, go into this page and check that my contact page is in fact contact me. Okay, and that should work. I go back down here and I view the preview. I should be taken to the contact page when okay, so that works. It's always worth verifying these things as you're working through them. So that button takes me to a contact page. Okay, so back in the funnels list, you can see that I've got my home page here, I've got my contact page here. I'm going to click on this to edit, and it is actually a contact page. If I added a step, you have to choose a type of page, and it's not a squeeze page, it's all the way down at the bottom, and it's a contact us page. And the difference is that the contact us page has the email messaging system tied to it. So this is my, if you weren't using a template, you'd have a whole host of templates to choose from again. You can just rearrange all of this text however you like. But the main thing is you've got this contact us field here, a button, and everything is set up automatically. If you wanted to, you could put different fields in. Okay, I can change the, you can change the placeholder and the information and things, but generally the block comes as a contact us form. You'll find it here actually, contact us, there's the form there that you could drag across to and put onto your page, but it has to be a contact us page. And you remember when we were setting up the settings, the custom domain settings, there was a place to put your email address so that the emails generated or entered into this form come straight into your own inbox. Okay, so there's not really much else to do on that page. Back into the main page. Now, another way that you can set up an email address is, I'm going to change this text. We are Tilly's traveling table. I'm going to highlight that and copy it. I'm going to add a link. Now this is called a mail to link. Okay, you can type mail to and then the address, and that arts.com. Okay, and then click the button to save it. .com. Now if I go into my preview, scroll down to the bottom, I should be able to click on this and it will fire up my own email program, put the address in there, and the person can send me an email. Okay, so that's another way to have an email, an active email address button, if you like. Okay, we're getting through it. The next thing to look at is menus on this editor. If you look at the top, I've got a menu in here, and it does say desktop only. I've only got it on here, and I'll come to that in a second. If you click on menu, you get a list of all of the menus and where you want them to go. Okay, so as I said before, we've got this one. If I change this to, let's say, contact me or whatever, I prefer it just to be contact, but it'll change it up on the menu there. So you don't type on here, you do it in the settings. I've got the / contact me is where it's going. If I wanted to open a new menu, you can, or you can add a sub menu, and then you can add in more sort of drop downs underneath it. For now, I'll leave that off. But let's say I had something like courses, and then underneath I had a sub menu with all the different courses that would show up underneath it as opposed to alongside. Instagram. Now I've got my Instagram link. So I'll put my Instagram link in there. Okay. Now, if that's in mobile version, it looks like this. Okay, so you've still got the same setup. Okay, you add in all of your items down here, and you can choose from the colors and all that sort of stuff as well. Burger icon is this thing here, the 3 lines. Okay, so that's how you set up the menu. Again, it's not a case of typing in here. It's a case of typing all of the text in the settings bar on the side here. Something to note when you're changing things with the mobile menu versus the desktop menu, these little icons here, if you're changing a setting with a little mobile icon here, It means that you'll change the font size on the mobile version, but not on the desktop. Okay, so that's basically it. The next thing to do is to make sure you go right through everything, check all the links, click on these, click on the preview. Okay, check all of these links, check these things functions work, and check that for example, your pop-up works. Okay, now I'm going to check that I put my Gmail account in there. Send myself I can't send myself an email on the preview. I'll have to do it on the actual live site. But send yourself an email. Check that you've got an email coming in to the right address, etc. Same with this. Send yourself an email through here just to check that it's all working. It's really important. There's no point in having a website if the links and things don't work. Now, this next part is something that I really highly recommend, okay, but it isn't strictly necessary. So if you want to make this jump and you're up for it, then you can set up an email capture to collect potential clients' email addresses and add them to a newsletter style campaign. Now, the fantastic thing about this is that you can write a series of emails, have all your information in there, and then they automatically get sent out to each client without you having to do it manually for every new client. So you get all the information to your whole client base when you need to, okay? And if you've got a week that you're trying to fill, you can send a one-off email to the entire list, jog their memory, offer a cheaper rate for the week or whatever it might be, okay? So it's perfect for nurturing your client relationships, keeping your services at the top of their mind, but it's also good for new clients to get to know you, okay? Now, the emails can be sent out every week or every month, however you like to play it. And you can set up the lead capture as the pop-up and simply ask the potential client to join your newsletter, or you can ask for an email address when they want to download your CV or sample menus or something like that, okay? As we saw in the example with Tilly's template. Now, once you've got the lead capture set up, system will collect all those email addresses for you. And you're ready to set up the actual email campaign, the list of emails that will be sent out in order. So let's jump in and take a look at that now. I've got my emails, as I said, newsletters as a one-off newsletter, campaigns. Now there's no campaign set up, but it's literally as simple as creating a campaign, name it however you want to call it, the sender email address, description, and the description is really just so you can remember what it is. The other way to do it is you can share one with someone else who's also on system. For my guys, for my students, they just hit this button. Okay, so my email sequence here has been imported. Okay, and if I click on it, you'll be able to see all of these emails listed here. And they're all got a 7-day window between them. You could make that 1 day, 2 days, 5 days. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. I've decided that once a week is a good thing. Now, the first email that goes out, this one here, for example, is the one that is sending out the sample menus that we promised when somebody opted in from our opt-in pop-up, as in gave us their email address. This is the first email that goes out straight away. If you're using this template, you need to change any of the instructions in red, okay? Enter your name at the bottom, connect your Instagram link from the button at the bottom here. Okay, you click anywhere on this and it will open it in the editor mode. Go down to the bottom, click on the Instagram button, and then put the URL in there. These are all images of random images of menus. You'll have your own that you've built in Canva or something like that, and you can just click on the button here and then upload an image or put it in, for example. So you change all of those, put your name at the bottom of it, and change this image up here to your logo image that you've designed in Canva. And then once you've done that, jump out and you can say, put the sender's name, sender's email address, and then you click save and publish, and it'll ask you which order you want this to go in. This is the first email, so there'll be nothing behind it, but if you're writing an email, then it would ask you where you wanted it in the mix, and then you can choose minutes, days, or hours and set the delay before sending that email, and then click activate. Now, as this is a free package, it'll only actually let you do one of these campaigns, so I can't do a separate one. But what I can do is show you how to make an email from scratch. And that's by just adding one on the end. You can either click the create button here. But what I like to do is create the first one and then hit the 3 dots and just duplicate it. Okay, it's much easier. You can duplicate the email and it'll open itself up automatically. And then you can just go in here, change the text, change the image, set it all up, and then save changes, exit, put the subject line in there, change the subject line for the new email, and put the name, sender's address, and then you're good, pretty much good to go. Okay, so that's how you would do it if you were setting one up from scratch. Okay, now that I've set that email campaign up, I can go back into my sales funnel, into my home page, edit, and find the pop-up, view it, pop-up settings, click on the button. Now it submits the form, there's no redirection. I'm going to add an automation rule, add an action. I'm going to add a tag, choose tag, download sample menus. Okay, and add another action, which is subscribe to a campaign. And then I can choose the campaign from the list if you've got a few different ones. In this case, there's only one. Save rule. Now that makes the connection between this pop-up being sent and your email campaign, or your contact going into the campaign. Save changes. And then, as always, it's a good idea to run yourself through it and test that the thing actually works. So that's generally all you need to do at this stage, but it's worth remembering in the future there are loads of other functions that System.io provides. Okay, if you want to grow your marketing, many of these functions are things that other platforms like Thinkific, ClickFunnels, Squarespace, Wix, they all either require a third-party subscription that you have to pay for in addition, or they charge a fortune for their platform, literally hundreds of euros per month. Trust me, I've tried them all. Okay, so these things are kind of outside the scope of this video, but if you need more information, I'm really happy to go into them in another video, so feel free to comment below if there's something that you need help with. Now, these functions include things like sales funnels, blogs, evergreen webinars, shopping cart if you're offering digital or physical products, online course builders like the ones that I use, online communities, scheduling for your diary for client calls, the list goes on and on. Okay, so whether you're looking to put in some sort of more technical online element for your private chef business, or you just want a simple website to advertise to your clients, System.io is where it's at. Okay, there's even an incredible affiliate program that you can get involved with, and the support that they have, the customer support, is some of the best that you'll find. Okay, anyway, I've left my affiliate link below so you can jump over, set up an account and create a free website. And if you want a great price for a custom domain name email service, then the link for Namecheap is there as well. Now, while your website is critical, it's not the only piece of the puzzle. Okay, now to truly stand out, you need stunning food photography, compelling CV, custom menus tailored to your clients' needs, and professional systems to run your kitchen efficiently so you can focus on wowing your guests. If you really are serious about getting yourself branded up properly and operating with style, then take a look at our course, The Professional Marketing for Private Chefs. It's packed with value, provides all the tools, templates, tips you'll need to elevate yourself as a professional and an efficient chef. You can ultimately leave more money in your pocket at the end of the month, and get rebooked on autopilot. The best part is you could work your way through this course and have yourself polished up in a weekend. So click the link below, build your chef website today. Remember, this free package on System.io is all you need. Plus, I really recommend buying a proper URL. If you want the full guide to becoming a sought-after private chef with tailored templates and fast-track this process, then check out our course too. Okay, feel free to leave a comment if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching. See you soon.